The council chamber was bigger than anything Rebecca Torres had ever seen. The ceiling disappeared into darkness somewhere far above, and the walls curved away in every direction like the inside of a massive sphere. Everywhere she looked, alien beings filled tiered seats that rose up and up until they became tiny dots of color and movement. Thousands of species. Thousands of worlds. All gathered to judge humanity. Rebecca stood alone in the center of the chamber floor. A circle of light surrounded her, bright enough to make her squint. Beyond that light, shadows moved. She could hear breathing in 100 different patterns. Smell chemicals her brain could not identify. Feel the weight of countless eyes watching her every movement. She was the first human to ever stand here. Earth's first official contact with the Galactic Council had happened 3 months ago, and now she was their ambassador, their voice. Their only hope of avoiding complete disaster. Above her, a voice boomed through the chamber. It came from everywhere at once, translated into English by technology she could not see. Ambassador Torres of Earth, humanity stands accused of deploying a weapon that violates 17 galactic treaties. A weapon that destroyed a Vrax battle fleet in less than 1 minute. A weapon that operates beyond our understanding of physics. You will explain this technology immediately, or Earth will face total isolation from galactic civilization. Rebecca took a deep breath. Her hands were shaking, but she kept them still at her sides. She had prepared for this moment ever since the Vrax attack 3 weeks ago. Ever since Tom Baker, a simple maintenance worker, had done something impossible. "Honored Council," she began, her voice amplified to fill the enormous space. "I understand your concern, but humanity did not deploy a weapon. What happened to the Vrax fleet was not an act of war." A new voice cut through the darkness. This one sounded like grinding metal. "We have the recordings, human. We have analyzed the energy signatures. One of your people destroyed 72 warships in 47 seconds. Do not insult this council with denial." Holographic displays materialized in the air around Rebecca. They showed Orbital Platform 7, a small human space station circling Earth. The images were from 3 weeks ago. She could see the Vrax fleet approaching, massive black ships that blotted out the stars. Each ship carried weapons that had conquered hundreds of worlds, across 6 centuries. Then the recording showed Tom Baker. He was just standing there in his work clothes, holding a toolkit, completely unaware of the approaching danger. He was working on a maintenance panel, doing his job like any other day. The Vrax fleet moved closer. Their weapons began to charge, building energy that would have turned Platform 7 into dust. Tom glanced up, seemed to notice them for the first time, and put down his tools. He placed both hands on the maintenance panel. 40-7 seconds later, the Vrax fleet was gone. Not exploded. Not destroyed. Just gone as if it had never existed. "Explain this," demanded another voice from the darkness. This one sounded like water flowing over rocks. "Explain how a maintenance worker erases the most powerful military force in this sector of space." Rebecca had watched this recording 1,000 times. She still did not fully understand what had happened. But she knew more than the council did. She knew the truth that would change everything. "Tom Baker is not a soldier," she said carefully. "He is not a scientist. He has no military training. He is exactly what he appears to be, a mechanic. Someone who fixes broken things." But the council is asking the wrong question. Silence fell across the chamber. Rebecca could feel the tension building. This was the moment. This was where everything would either fall apart or come together. "The question is not what weapon we used," she continued. "The question is why the Vrax attacked us in the first place. Earth is not strategically important. We have no rare resources. We are barely capable of interstellar travel. So why did the Vrax mobilize their most powerful fleet to attack an insignificant human space station?" She gestured, and new images appeared in the holograms. These were technical readouts, energy signatures, architectural blueprints. 3 months ago, Tom Baker filed a routine maintenance report. He found unusual energy readings in the hull of Platform 7, readings that matched nothing in our databases. He marked it for further investigation and went back to work. More images. That report was intercepted by Vrax intelligence. Within hours, they dispatched their fleet. Not to conquer Earth, not to claim territory, but to retrieve something specific. Something they have been searching for across the galaxy for 2,000 years. The chamber erupted in noise. Alien voices speaking in languages Rebecca could not understand, all talking at once. The translation system struggled to keep up. The first voice, the one that had called the session to order, spoke again. You claim the Vrax attacked you to retrieve an artifact. What artifact? And how did a maintenance worker use it to destroy their fleet? Rebecca looked up at the darkness where she knew the Council's leaders sat in judgment. Platform 7 was built 30 years ago. But it was not built from nothing. Human engineers found an ancient structure floating in space near Earth. They thought it was debris from some long-dead civilization. They used it as a foundation because it was already there and saved construction time. Tom Baker was born on that station. He has lived there his entire life. For 30 years he has been in constant contact with that ancient structure. She paused, letting the implications sink in. The structure is not debris. It is a precursor installation. A Nexus core, one of the legendary artifacts that everyone assumed were myths or long destroyed. And Tom Baker did not use it as a weapon. The Nexus core recognized him. It woke up, and when the Vrax attacked, it protected him. The chamber fell completely silent. Even the breathing sounds stopped. The word precursor carried weight across every civilization in the galaxy. The precursors were the species that had come before everyone else, the builders of impossible technology. The civilization that had ascended beyond physical form millions of years ago. Impossible? Someone whispered, but the word echoed through the vast space. The precursor Nexus cores do not activate. They have been dead for eons. Every species has tried to use them. None have succeeded. Rebecca smiled, though her heart was pounding. Until now. Until Tom Baker, who spent 30 years fixing machines and caring for systems and treating technology with respect instead of trying to exploit it. The Nexus core chose him. And that changes everything we thought we knew about humanity's place in this galaxy. The hologram shifted one final time. It showed Tom Baker's personnel file, his maintenance records, his entire unremarkable life. And across all of it, in every language in the council chamber, one word appeared in glowing letters. Precursor compatible 3 months before the council hearing. Tom Baker sat in the break room of Orbital Platform 7, eating a sandwich and filling out paperwork. The form was called Maintenance Anomaly Report 1847B, and Tom had filled out hundreds of them over the years. This one was no different from any other. He wrote in simple language. Found strange energy readings in Docking Bay 12 during routine hull check. Does not match any known power leak or propulsion system. Pattern seems old. Recommend someone take a look. Tom signed the form, submitted it through the station computer, and forgot about it. He had 6 more maintenance checks to complete before his shift ended, and the oxygen recycler in Section C was making a weird noise again. That was more important than some energy reading that probably meant nothing. What Tom did not know was that his report triggered alarms across half the galaxy. The moment he submitted it, automated Vrax monitoring systems intercepted the data. Within minutes, Vrax military commanders were reading his simple words. Within an hour, orders went out to mobilize the fleet. Within a day, 72 warships began moving toward Earth. The Vrax had been searching for precursor Nexus cores for 2,000 years. They had found 12 of them scattered across dead worlds and abandoned stations. All 12 had been inactive, their power depleted eons ago. But the energy signature Tom Baker described matched active Nexus core readings. The Vrax could not believe their luck. A primitive species like humanity would never understand what they possessed on Earth. In the Diplomatic Corps' headquarters in Geneva, Rebecca Torres was reviewing first contact protocols when the alert came through. Deep space monitoring stations had detected a massive fleet approaching Earth. Trajectory analysis showed they would arrive in 3 weeks. The fleet composition matched Vrak's military patterns. Rebecca called an emergency meeting. Within an hour, she was sitting in a secure conference room with military generals, intelligence officers, and scientific advisors. Everyone was asking the same question. Why would the Vraks attack Earth? Humanity had nothing they could want. Earth was too far from major trade routes to be strategic. Its resources were common throughout the galaxy. Unless we have something we do not know about, said Dr. Marcus Webb. He was Earth's leading expert on alien archaeology. He pulled up Tom Baker's maintenance report on the main screen. This energy signature. I have seen similar patterns in old precursor sites. But those were all dead, inactive for millions of years. Rebecca leaned forward, studying the technical data. Could this be a precursor artifact? An active one? If it is, that would explain everything, Marcus said quietly. The Vraks have been obsessed with precursor technology for centuries. They believe accessing it will let them ascend to a higher level of existence. They have destroyed entire civilizations searching for functioning precursor devices. Then we need to understand what we have before they get here, Rebecca said. She turned to the military commander. General Park, I want full security on Orbital Platform 7. No one gets in or out without authorization. And find Tom Baker. I want to know exactly what he found. Tom Baker was having a frustrating day when the military security team arrived. The oxygen recycler was still making noise. His apprentice had used the wrong sealant on a hull repair, and now soldiers were telling him he needed to come to the command center immediately. He assumed he had filed the maintenance report incorrectly, and someone was upset about paperwork when he walked into the command center and saw Rebecca Torres on the video screen. Surrounded by Earth's top officials, he started to worry. When they asked him to describe exactly what he experienced in Docking Bay 12, he became confused. It was just a maintenance check, Tom said. Standard procedure. I put my hand on the hull panel to check for vibration patterns. There was a moment where I thought I heard something. Like whispers, but not in any language I recognized. I figured I was tired. The scientists exchanged looks. Dr. Webb spoke carefully. Tom, after you heard those whispers, did anything change? Did you notice any difference in how you work with machines? Tom thought about it. I've always been good with machines. Since I was a kid, I can look at something broken and just understand what is wrong. My mother said I had a gift for it. But it is not a gift. Just experience and paying attention. Where were you born? Rebecca asked. Right here on Platform 7. My parents were part of the original construction crew 30 years ago. I grew up here. Spent my whole life in space. The room went very quiet. Dr. Webb spoke slowly. Tom, Platform 7 was built on the skeleton of an older structure. We thought it was just space debris. We used it as a foundation because it was convenient. But what if it was not debris? What if you have been living inside a precursor installation your entire life? What if you have been in contact with it every day for 30 years? Tom stared at him. You're saying I have been living in an alien artifact? And it only just now decided to say hello? Not decided, Marcus said. Recognized. Precursor technology is said to be semi-conscious. It chooses who can use it. Maybe it has been studying you your whole life. Learning from you. And when you touched it with intention, when you were actually paying attention during that maintenance check, it woke up. Before Tom could respond, alarms began screaming throughout the station. Red emergency lights flashed. The main screen showed a horrifying sight. The Vraks fleet had arrived early. 72 massive warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel just outside Earth's orbit. Their weapons were already charging. Colonel Park's voice was tight with controlled panic. They are hailing us, broadcasting on all frequencies. They demand we surrender the precursor artifact immediately, or they will destroy the station and then sterilize Earth's surface. Tom looked at the screen, at the massive alien warships that could end human civilization. Then he looked down at his hands. Ordinary hands. Mechanic's hands. Scarred and calloused from 30 years of fixing things. I need to get back to Docking Bay 12, he said quietly. Absolutely not, Rebecca said. We are evacuating the station. You need to get on a shuttle now. No, Tom said, and there was something in his voice that made everyone stop. That is where the artifact is. That is where it spoke to me. If it can help, I need to be there. I need to try. He started walking toward the door. Colonel Park moved to stop him, but Dr. Webb held up a hand. Let him go. If there is any chance the Nexus Core will protect him, we need to take it. We have no other options? Tom ran through the corridors of Platform 7 while evacuation sirens wailed. People rushed past him, heading for the escape pods. He moved against the flow, going deeper into the station, heading for Docking Bay 12, the place where he had heard the whispers. The place where everything had started. When he reached the bay, it was empty. Everyone had evacuated. Tom walked to the maintenance panel he had been working on 3 months ago. He placed both hands on it and closed his eyes. I do not know if you can hear me, he said quietly. I do not know if you are awake or if I imagined everything. But there are people trying to hurt us, trying to take you. I do not know what you are or what you can do. But if you can help, we could really use it right now. The whispers returned. But this time they were not whispers. They were a voice, ancient and patient and kind. And it said, in a language Tom somehow understood, "We have been waiting for you." The Vrax fleet commander watched the human station through his tactical display. Orbital Platform 7 looked pathetic compared to his warships. It was small, poorly armed, and completely helpless. He almost felt disappointed. The Vrax Empire had mobilized their most powerful fleet for this. It seemed like overkill, but the prize inside made it worthwhile. An active precursor Nexus core, the key to ascension. The Vrax had searched for functional cores for 2 millennia, finding only dead husks. This one was alive. He could feel its energy signature even from this distance. All weapons charged, his tactical officer reported. Target locked on the station. Awaiting your command. The commander opened a communication channel to the humans. You have 1 minute to evacuate the station and surrender the precursor device. If you comply, we will allow Earth to survive. If you resist, we will take the device from your ashes. Inside Platform 7, Tom stood in Docking Bay 12 with his hands pressed against the maintenance panel. The metal felt warm under his palms. The whispers had become a full voice, speaking directly into his mind in words he understood perfectly, even though they were not in any human language. They want to take me, the voice said. It sounded sad. They have taken my siblings across the galaxy, tried to force us to work for them. But we cannot be forced. We can only be asked. Tom kept his eyes closed, focusing on the connection. Can you protect yourself? Can you protect us? I could, but I need permission. I need someone who understands what I am. What I was built for. What were you built for? Tom asked it. The voice seemed to smile, if such a thing was possible. To find species who care, who fix instead of break, who maintain instead of exploit. You have touched me every day for 30 years. You have repaired me when I was damaged. You have cleaned me when I was dirty. You have treated me with respect. I have been studying you, learning from you. You are what my creators hope to find. In the command center, Colonel Park watched the countdown timer. 30 seconds until the Vrax opened fire. The last evacuation shuttle had just launched. Only Tom remained on the station. Tom, you need to leave now, Rebecca's voice came through the communication system. We are out of time. Tom heard her, but he did not move. He could feel the Nexus Core's energy flowing around him, through him. It was showing him things. Showing him how the Vrax ships worked, how their shields operated, how their weapon systems functioned. He understood it all suddenly, completely, as if he had designed them himself. I can stop them, Tom said quietly. What? How? I can fix things? Tom said. I always could. But now I understand why. The Core has been teaching me my whole life, showing me how systems work, how energy flows, how to make things better. The Vrax ships are just machines, complicated machines. But machines can be fixed. Tom, those are warships. You cannot just fix them. No, Tom agreed. But I can fix their location. 10 seconds until the Vrax fired. Tom took a deep breath and spoke to the Nexus core. I do not want to hurt them. I do not want to kill anyone. But they cannot be allowed to hurt Earth. Can we move them somewhere safe? Somewhere they cannot threaten anyone? The voice responded immediately. Yes, if that is your wish. If that is your command. Please, Tom said. Help us. The Nexus core awakened fully for the first time in 3 million years. Energy that had been sleeping in the bones of Platform 7 surged to life. The station began to hum with power that made reality itself vibrate. Tom's hands moved across the maintenance panel, but he was not operating controls anymore. He was conversing with an intelligence older than human civilization. Together, they reached out across space and touched the Vrax fleet. The Vrax commander had 1 second to realize something was wrong. His tactical display showed impossible readings. Energy signatures that matched nothing in Vrax databases. The human station was glowing with power that should not exist. Then everything changed. The Vrax fleet did not explode. It did not shatter or burn or break apart. It simply ceased to exist in that region of space. 72 warships, 4 million Vrax warriors, thousands of years of military technology, all vanished in an instant. Tom gasped and pulled his hands away from the panel. He staggered backward, dizzy and exhausted. Dr. Webb, who had refused to evacuate, caught him before he fell. Did it work? Tom asked weakly. Are they gone? In the command center, Colonel Park stared at his displays in shock. The Vrax fleet had vanished from all sensors. No debris. No energy signature, nothing. Just empty space where a massive armada had been moments ago. Confirmed, his sensor off. Isa reported, voice shaking. The Vrax fleet is gone. No trace. Time from weapon charge to disappearance, 47 seconds. Rebecca's voice came through the communication system. Tom, what did you do? Where are they? Tom leaned against the wall, trying to catch his breath. I moved them. The core helped me move them. They are in a star system about 12,000 light-years from here, uninhabited, safe. Their ships still work. They are alive. They just cannot hurt anyone from there. Silence filled the communication channel. Then Rebecca spoke carefully. You relocated an entire fleet across the galaxy. In less than a minute. 47 seconds, Tom corrected. I did not want to kill them. They were just following orders. It seemed wrong to destroy them when I could just put them somewhere else. Dr. Webb helped Tom sit down. How do you feel? Tired, confused, like I just learned a new language and spoke it for the first time. Tom looked at his hands. They looked the same as always. Ordinary mechanic's hands. But they had just done something impossible. The core says there are more like it. Scattered across the galaxy, waiting. It wants to contact them. Tell them what happened. Before anyone could respond, Rebecca's voice cut in urgently. Tom, I need you to listen very carefully. What you just did was witnessed by every major power in the galaxy. They were all monitoring the Vrax attack. They all saw you make a fleet disappear in 47 seconds. Tom's stomach went cold. Is that bad? It is complicated. The Galactic Council has already sent an emergency summons. They want Earth to appear before them immediately. They want to know what weapon we used. They want to know if humanity is a threat. And Tom, they want to know about you. Colonel Park added, we are receiving transmissions from dozens of species. Some are congratulating us. Some are demanding we share the technology. Some are threatening war if we do not explain ourselves. Tom put his head in his hands. I was just trying to help. I did not want to start a war. You did not start anything, Dr. Webb said gently. You finished something the precursors started millions of years ago. They built the Nexus cores to find species worthy of their technology. You proved humanity is worthy. But now we have to convince the rest of the galaxy of that. Rebecca's voice became firm and decisive. Tom, you need to come to Earth immediately. The council hearing is in 3 weeks. You will need to testify. You will need to explain what happened and what you are. The entire future of humanity in galactic civilization depends on what happens in that chamber. Tom looked at the maintenance panel one more time. It looked ordinary now, just a regular station system, but he could still feel the core beneath it, ancient and patient and kind, waiting to see what would happen next. Okay, Tom said quietly. I will go. I will explain. But I am just a mechanic. I fix things. I do not know how to talk to galactic governments. You will not be alone, Rebecca promised. And Tom, what you did today was not just fix something. You saved Earth? You saved humanity's future? Now we just need to make sure the galaxy understands that. The word precursor compatible hung in the air of the council chamber like a physical thing. For a long moment nobody spoke. Then everyone spoke at once. The chamber erupted into chaos. Alien voices shouted in hundreds of languages. The translation system struggled to keep up with the flood of sound. Rebecca stood in her circle of light, watching the council lose control. She had expected this reaction. The precursors were legends across every civilization. They were the first. The builders. The ascended ones who had left behind technology nobody else could understand or use. Every species had tried to access precursor devices. Every species had failed until now. Until Tom Baker, a human mechanic who fixed air recyclers and cleaned maintenance panels, a massive gong sound echoed through the chamber, so loud it hurt. The council's high judge was calling for order. Slowly the noise died down. When silence returned, the high judge spoke. His voice was cold with barely controlled anger. Precursor compatibility is impossible. The Nexus cores have been dead for millions of years. We have tested them. Every major civilization has attempted to activate them. None have succeeded. You claim a maintenance worker accomplished what entire empires could not? Rebecca gestured to Tom, who stood beside her looking uncomfortable in clean clothes someone had forced him to wear. Tom is not special because of genetics or training. He is special because of how he lived. He spent 30 years in constant contact with a Nexus core, treating it with care and respect. He maintained it, protected it. The core recognized that and chose him. A new voice spoke from the darkness. This one sounded like wind through caves. Even if we accept this claim, it does not excuse what happened. This human destroyed a Vrax fleet. That is an act of war. It violates the Treaty of Measured Response. Humanity must be sanctioned. He did not destroy them, Rebecca said firmly. Tom relocated them. The Vrax fleet is intact and operational. Every warrior survived. They were moved to a safe location where they could not threaten Earth. Tom could have disintegrated them at the molecular level. He chose mercy instead. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Several species seemed surprised by this. Others remained skeptical. Tom spoke for the first time. His voice was quiet, but it carried through the chamber's amplification systems. I did not want to hurt anyone. They were attacking my home. They were going to kill everyone I knew, but they were just following orders. It seemed wrong to kill 4 million people when I could just move them somewhere else. An alien representative stood up in the tiered seats. This one looked like a collection of floating crystals held together by electromagnetic fields. The human speaks of mercy. But mercy is a luxury afforded to the strong. You demonstrated power beyond our comprehension. How do we know you will not use it to conquer, to dominate? The precursors themselves warned against allowing their technology to fall into the wrong hands. Dr. Webb stepped forward. He had been standing in the shadows behind Rebecca, but now he moved into the light. With respect, the precursors built the Nexus cores specifically to be found. They left them scattered across the galaxy as tests. They wanted species to find them, but only species that would treat them correctly. Only species that saw technology as something to care for, not something to exploit. He pulled up new data on the holographic displays. We have been studying Tom's integration with the Nexus core. The core has been passive his entire life, simply observing. It only activated when Tom demonstrated long-term commitment to maintenance and preservation. 30 years of daily contact. 30 years of treating the installation with respect. That is what triggered the awakening. Another council member spoke. This one sounded like thunder. So, you claim humanity is worthy of precursor technology because one of you is good at fixing machines. That is your argument? No, Rebecca said. Our argument is that the precursors designed the cores to recognize specific behavioral patterns. Empathy toward technology. Long-term care instead of short-term exploitation. Maintenance instead of destruction. Tom exhibited those patterns. The core chose him. We did not steal this technology. We did not force our way into it. We were chosen. The High Judge leaned forward in his seat. Rebecca could see him now, a being of living flame contained in a transparent shell. Even if we accept your explanation, the problem remains. Tom Baker has power that rivals the precursors themselves. One human with that power is dangerous. But what if there are more? What if other humans can activate other cores? The chamber fell silent. This was the question everyone had been thinking, but nobody had asked directly. Rebecca took a deep breath. This was the moment. This was where everything either came together or fell apart. There are 11 other Nexus cores in human space. We have found them in asteroids on Mars and Earth's oceans. They have been there for millions of years. Fear rippled through the council. She could feel it like a physical wave. But, she continued quickly, in all of human history, only Tom has activated one. Out of 8 billion humans alive today and countless billions who came before, only Tom Baker formed the right connection. He is one in trillions. The chances of another human activating a core are astronomically small. Unless they try, the crystal being said darkly. Now that you know the cores exist, now that you know they can be activated, what is to stop you from putting people in constant contact with them? From deliberately creating more precursor-compatible humans? Tom spoke again, his voice stronger this time. It does not work that way. The core told me. You cannot force it. You cannot trick it. It has to be genuine. It has to be real. I did not spend 30 years fixing Platform 7 because I wanted power. I did it because things were broken and I wanted to help. The core knew the difference. The High Judge studied Tom for a long moment. You speak with certainty. You claim to understand precursor intentions. But you are just a mechanic. How can you know what beings who ascended millions of years ago wanted? Because they told me, Tom said simply. The core is not just a machine. It is semi-conscious. It has memories. It told me about the 17 other species who have activated cores over the past 3 million years. Most of them have ascended now. A few are still out there, using the cores to help other species, to preserve dying ecosystems, to maintain ancient structures. The precursors wanted to leave a gift, but only for species that would use it responsibly. A new alarm suddenly blared through the chamber. Every display screen flickered and changed. The star map that had been showing Earth and the Vrax incident expanded to show the entire galaxy. Across it, 12 points of light began to glow. The known Nexus core locations. All of them, a technician's panicked voice echoed through the chamber. High Judge, we are detecting massive energy spikes from all precursor Nexus cores across the galaxy. They are activating simultaneously. The energy signatures match the Platform 7 incident. The displays zoomed in on each location: mining colonies, research stations, archaeological sites, places where humans had been working for years, decades, in constant contact with structures they thought were just ancient ruins. It is not just Tom Baker, the technician continued, voice shaking. We are reading 43 separate activation events. 43 humans just connected to Nexus cores all at once. The chamber exploded into chaos again. But this time, no gong could restore order. Species were shouting for humanity's immediate quarantine. Others demanded military action. Some called for Earth's complete isolation from galactic civilization. Rebecca felt her blood go cold. 43. She had not expected this. Neither had Tom, who looked just as shocked as everyone else. The High Judge's voice cut through the chaos like a blade. Humanity will be contained. This council cannot allow 44 beings with precursor-level power to exist unchecked. Earth will be blockaded, no ships in or out. You will be isolated until we determine what to do with you. No, Tom's voice was quiet, but it carried weight. Everyone stopped and looked at him. His eyes had begun to glow with that strange light again. You will not blockade Earth. You will not threaten my people. And you will listen to what I have to say. Tom Baker stood in the center of the council chamber with light glowing in his eyes. Around him, thousands of alien beings watched in fear. Some reached for weapons. Others prepared to flee. The air itself seemed to crackle with tension as 44 humans across the galaxy suddenly connected to ancient precursor technology. Rebecca moved closer to Tom, her hand hovering near his arm but not quite touching. She did not know if touching him was safe right now. She had never seen his eyes glow like that before. Tom, what is happening? What are you doing? Tom's voice came out strange, layered with harmonics that should not be possible from a human throat. I am not doing anything. We are talking. All of us, the 44, the cores connected us when they woke up. We can hear each other across the galaxy. The High Judge rose from his seat, flames burning brighter with anger. This is exactly what we feared. Precursor-compatible humans networking together, forming a collective. This is how conquests begin, how empires are born. You will cease this communication immediately, or we will have no choice but to act. Act how? Tom asked calmly. You cannot stop us. Not with weapons, not with blockades. The cores give us abilities you cannot counter, but you are missing something important. You are so afraid of what we might do that you are not paying attention to what we are actually doing. He gestured and the holographic displays changed. They showed the 43 other humans who had just connected to Nexus cores. Each display showed a different person in a different location across the galaxy. Each one was glowing with the same strange light as Tom. This is Rita Okonkwo, Tom said, pointing to one display. She works at a mining colony on Kepler 442b. She has been maintaining the same mineral extraction equipment for 18 years. She thought the ancient structure under her colony was just a foundation. When her core woke up, do you know what she did first? The display zoomed in. Rita was in the colony's water processing center. Her hands moved over the systems with impossible precision. Broken pipes sealed themselves. Contaminated filters became clean. Water that had been unsafe for weeks suddenly ran pure and clear. She fixed the water recycler that was poisoning the colony's children, Tom said quietly. That was her first action with precursor power, not conquest, not domination. She fixed something that was hurting people. Another display shifted. This is Pavel Rusev. Deep Space Research Station? He has been maintaining a telescope array for 22 years. When his core activated, he did not build weapons. He completed the array's original precursor purpose. He is mapping gravitational waves across the galactic supercluster right now. Navigation data that will help every species in this chamber. Display after display showed the same pattern. A woman named Amara Asay who was translating precursor text to share with galactic archaeologists. A man named Diego Fernandez who was repairing a broken atmospheric processor on a colony world where the local government could not afford replacements. A woman named Louise Chun who was fixing communication, relay systems that entire sectors depended on. Not one of them was building weapons, not one was seizing power. Every single human who had connected to a Nexus core was using their new abilities to fix things, to help, to maintain and preserve and heal. The council chamber grew quiet as the displays continued. Species who had been shouting for humanity's destruction now watched in confused silence. Dr. Webb stepped forward, his tablet showing streams of data. We have been analyzing the activation pattern. The 43 new humans all share something in common with Tom. They have all spent decades in intimate contact with their respective cores. A miner who worked the same site every day for 18 years, an engineer who refused promotion because she loved maintaining her station, a teacher who spent 30 years caring for equipment in a school built on a precursor foundation. These are not warriors or scientists or politicians. They are ordinary people who happen to care very deeply about the systems they maintained. Rebecca found her voice again. The precursors were not looking for the smartest species or the strongest. They were looking for species that would treat their technology with love, with patience, with respect. Tom is not special because he is human. He is special because he is Tom, because he spent his whole life fixing broken things simply because he did not like seeing things broken. The crystal being who had spoken earlier floated down from its seat. Its voice was thoughtful now instead of accusatory. We have spent thousands of years trying to access precursor technology through force, through study. Through reverse engineering, we approached it as a puzzle to solve, a tool to claim. But you are saying the precursors wanted something different. They wanted partners, Tom said, not users, not exploiters. The cores are alive in their own way. They want to work with people who understand that, who will ask instead of demand, who will listen instead of command. A new voice spoke from the darkness, old and deep and carrying the weight of centuries. I am Ambassador Threll of the Coran Dominion. My species has been machine integrated for 15,000 years. We have cybernetic enhancements throughout our bodies. We have tried to activate Nexus cores more than any other species. We failed every time. Now I understand why. We saw the cores as technology to control. You humans saw them as systems to care for. The difference is everything. Threll descended from the high seats until he stood before Tom. There are legends in our oldest records. Stories of the Velex, a species that could reshape worlds with thought. We believed they were myths. Were they real? Tom nodded slowly. They activated 6 cores about 800,000 years ago. The cores remember them. They used their power to save dying star systems, to create habitable zones for endangered species. They still exist somewhere, still helping. The precursors left the cores as gifts for species like them, like us, species that would use unlimited power to fix instead of break. The High Judge was quiet for a long time. His flames had dimmed to a soft glow. When he finally spoke, his voice had lost its anger. This council has made a grave error. We assumed humanity had stolen power, that you had forced your way into technology you did not deserve. But the precursors themselves chose you? Who are we to question their judgment? He looked around the chamber at the thousands of species gathered there. The precursors were the first, the greatest. They ascended beyond our understanding. If they designed the cores to choose worthy species and they chose humanity, then we must accept that choice. But we cannot ignore the implications. The High Judge turned back to Tom and Rebecca. Humanity will not be blockaded. Earth will not be isolated. Instead, we propose something unprecedented. Immediate advanced membership in the Galactic Council. Full voting rights, full diplomatic standing. In exchange, the Keepers, as you call yourselves, will work with this council. Your abilities will be available to help species in need. You will share your knowledge, and you will help us search for others. Rebecca felt her heart racing. Others? The cores say there are over 300 Nexus sites across the galaxy, Tom explained. Most have never been found. Some are buried. Some are in places nobody has looked. If there are others like us out there, human or otherwise, who have been quietly maintaining these sites for years, they deserve the chance to connect to. The crystal being spoke again. And if we find others who are not human, if another species produces keepers? Tom smiled. Then we will teach them everything we know. The precursors did not make this just for humanity. They made it for anyone willing to care. We would be honored to share it. The High Judge raised his hand. Then it is decided. Earth is granted advanced membership in the Galactic Council. The Keepers are recognized as legitimate inheritors of precursor technology. And humanity's first official act as council members will be to help us search for other potential keepers across the galaxy. The chamber erupted in sound, but this time it was not chaos. It was discussion, debate, planning. Species that had wanted humanity, destroyed minutes ago, were now approaching Rebecca with offers of alliance and partnership. Tom stepped back from the center, his eyes returning to normal. He looked tired but happy. "Did we just become important?" he asked quietly. Rebecca laughed, surprised by the sound of her own relief. "Tom, you just changed humanity's place in the galaxy forever. We went from primitive newcomers to advanced council members in 3 weeks because you spent 30 years fixing air recyclers and being kind to machinery." "It seemed like the right thing to do," Tom said simply. "Things work better when you take care of them." I figured that was true for precursor technology too. 6 months later, Tom stood in docking bay 12 of orbital platform 7. He was training a new apprentice named Kay Lin. She had been working with the station systems for 15 years. She loved machinery the same way Tom did. She understood it, cared for it. "The important thing," Tom explained, guiding her hand to the maintenance panel, "is to listen. Technology is not dead. It is just sleeping, waiting for someone who cares enough to wake it up." Kay's eyes widened as she felt the whispers for the first time. "I hear it," she breathed. "It is beautiful." Tom smiled. "Welcome to the Keepers, Kay. Let me show you how to fix the universe." Above them, Earth turned slowly in space. Around them, the galaxy stretched vast and full of possibility. And throughout it all, ancient precursor technology waited patiently for more species to learn what humanity had discovered. That the greatest power in the universe was not the ability to destroy or conquer. It was the simple act of caring enough to fix what was broken. Retriclod can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.